know you're so happy about it. I actually think the Red Sox might not suck this year.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Me.
Presented by Bigelow Tea, Jackson Lumber, Blue Moonlight, Wellesley Testosterone, FindMazMoney.com, Gem Plumbing, and by Golf. On Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
1-1 pitch. Ground ball to third. Fielded by Toro. On to first. And the Red Sox win again. That's 6 in a row. 8-5, the final. Knocking off Kansas City. It got hairy there in the 8th inning, but the Red Sox bring Chapman in to close it out. They win it 8-5.
Just keep it rolling. And the offense was big early on, really separated this ball game. It got a little hairy, as you said, in the 8th inning. Alex used guys he didn't want to use here to close this thing out, but the most important thing is you take game 1 here for the Royals, and then you hand the ball off to Garrett Crochet tomorrow.
Red Sox 21-7 since the 1st of July. They keep on rolling. 8-5 here tonight.
Red Sox hot like a rocket. And we got the Saugus rocket in the house tonight. Oh, that even made Jimmy Stewart smile a little bit. I still got it. I acknowledge you, Jared Carrabis, Tribal Chief, Baseball. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Did I just hear 21-7 since July 1st? Is
That's
that what
right.
I heard?
Yeah. What are they, like 14-2 at home in their last 16? Is that something?
Something crazy. We had T.
I think they're 24-27. 24 wins in their last 27 games at home.
Not
Something
too bad.
Crazy like that. It's been a while since the Sox made Fenway Park a difficult place to come play baseball. I was there last night. It was a fun time. Alcala tried to ruin it, cost him his job. Don't ever do that again. Not on my watch. But yeah, man, this is a fun team. Matt McCarthy, are you excited?
I'm having fun.
You're having fun.
I like fun.
You deserve
Fun's good.
You don't deserve this, but like you deserve something.
No, hold on. Why don't I deserve this?
Well, because the whole Trevor Story thing. Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure. Hit me with it.
So I'm happy that you're the reverse jinx guy because I myself have been a reverse jinx guy this season. I was out there saying I've been pretty much since the 10-game winning streak have been predicting them to lose every single game. Mm-hmm. So right around the time, because that would have been the 4th of July weekend. So right around the time that I've started predicting them to lose every single game, they've almost won every single game. And you're out here putting stats about Trevor Story out into the ether. Mm-hmm. And Trevor Story, my guy TS10, he's out here saying, you know what, Matt McCarthy, you're right. I have been scuffling a little bit. And then he's found that next gear. And lo and behold, Jimmy, I think TS10 might be a silver slugger at shortstop this year.
I think so. He's what, a top 3 shortstop in baseball?
What does that say about the state of the shortstop position in the
It's
American
really
League?
good.
That's neither here nor there.
I'm just doing my part, Carrabis. What can I say?
Same.
You want to dance on me anymore? with the Trevor Story thing?
No.
Isn't Trevor Story the number 1 leader in the Clark's catch-up voting this year for MVP?
I believe he has taken home the most Clark's Catch-Up Series MVPs. The players in the clubhouse are also aware of the award, and they do care when they win or not. When
are they going to be voting on it? They going to expand the vote?
The inmates can't run the asylum over there.
Let them vote? I mean, the voting is obviously clearly rigged if Trevor Story keeps winning the thing. So,
I think that there needs to be a Sports Hub representative outside of Tyler. Like Tyler Milliken, like he's a rogue person. Who would you nominate? Would it be you?
I would definitely nominate myself. I'm egotistical enough to nominate myself.
I would nominate myself.
People would be furious if I gave you a vote for ketchup.
I know. That's why you should do it. Sometimes you need to ruffle the feathers a little bit. Just piss off the people just a bit.
So I'm liked within the Section 10 community, so I feel like me would be the right choice.
Besides Steve. Which is just, it's unjust, Jimmy.
I know. Don't worry, I've got a file on Peralt.
But that's what you get for being my wise man,
Thank you, my tribal chief.
Put it out there to the community.
Who, if there were to be a Sports Hub representative not named Tyler Milliken to vote for Clark's Catch-Up Series MVP, who would it be? Whose opinion at this station do you value the most on baseball? I'll even throw Beetle's name in the hat. I feel like Beetle...
big baseball guy.
Yep, big baseball guy. He's not a baseball first guy, but he's still a baseball guy. He still cares, and he pays attention. He's passionate about it.
He might be the most objective of the bunch, actually, Beetle.
Sure. Scott from Rentham, though. Can we nominate callers? Because Scott from Rentham might have some takes as it pertains to catch up. Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll put it out to the people. Maybe we'll workshop that.
Something tells me I'm not going to do so well in that.
No.
vote.
Well, I mean, ultimately, like this is a dictatorship. This is not,
Unless you want to steal the ballot, steal the vote.
Yeah, I think I would look at the data and then I decide who wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, rig it.
Yeah, it's not a vote. Yeah.
I understand
It's
that.
a suggestion.
So Jared Carrabis is here. He's presented by Blue Moon Light, a light and refreshing citrus wheat beer with only 95 calories,
Right.
brewed with real tangerine peel for a subtle sweetness and a smooth finish. Enjoy Blue Moon Light today. Before we get into the winning streak, before we get into all the good stuff, and there is plenty of that going on with the Red Sox, Jared, I too am very much enjoying what is going on with this team. I do want to pick your brain about the trading deadline because you are as tapped in as anybody. So first and foremost, and I know you've kind of explained this, but maybe not in this format, to this audience specifically, what the hell happened last week? How did the Red Sox not come away with an impact player, be it Joe Ryan or anybody else?
First of all, thank you for acknowledging me. Not all radio stations in this market do that. So I just want to show my appreciation for your acknowledgement. So what happened? What happened at the trade deadline on Thursday? So I will say this. And I'm glad that I was the only one hanging out there for 4 days. People saying, "Oh, you don't know anything, and your report, take it back." Blah 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 blah. Ken Rosenthal called the Red Sox efforts feeble to acquire Joe Ryan. You had a Baseball Hour contributor, Chris Cotillo of Mass Live, come out and say they didn't get anywhere close. And I just stood firm, Matt McCarthy. I stood firm right there. And I said, you know what? They did come close. They did come close to getting it done. And what's interesting to me, or I guess the more fascinating detail, is the perspectives, right? So if the Twins are sitting there saying, the package was fine. It was fine. And then you have people on the Red Sox side saying, we did everything we could. Like, we emptied the clip on this. The truth has to be somewhere in between, or is it? Or was it just the Twins were disingenuous as it pertains to their interest in trading Joe Ryan? Because I think if you start to dig through what it is the Red Sox were doing, the players that were being offered, and the players that weren't being asked for on the Twins side, I think you'll come out of that not knowing, but having an educated guess that the Red Sox account of things, or the reports coming out from the Red Sox side, are more accurate.
Can you go into more detail on that when you say the players being asked for?
So I don't think that they ever said, we want Duran, we want Willier. It was kind of just, my read on it was the Twins were like, all right, what will you give us? And then the Red Sox were like, players X, Y, and Z. And they're like, okay, how about players A, B, and C? They never said, they never tried to workshop it with them. They just the Red Sox just kept going to the Twins being like, what about this combination? What about that combination? And the Twins just never said, let's take 2 players from this package that you offered and 2 players from this package that you offered, put them together. What do you think about that? Like, it didn't feel like they were working with them to get a deal done. It felt like the Red Sox were working to please the Twins to receive Joe Ryan.
So is that why there's such a disconnect here? Because I think both of the things can be true, right?
Sure.
We hear reporting, from the Twins side of things, it says this deal was never close. We hear from the Red Sox side of things that they thought they had a deal done. I mean, in some ways, both of those things, I know it doesn't sound like they can be true at the same time. They can be, right? Because it's a matter of perspective. I think the Red Sox, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jared, this is the way I'm reading what you're saying, is the Red Sox felt like they put a highly competitive package on the table that they felt like was going to get the job done. And the Twins, it turns out, didn't feel that package was good enough. And apparently there was never any real type of communication between the two sides where they were able to decipher whether or not they were actually close on a deal. Is that fair to say?
The only caveat I would add to how you described it is I don't know that the Twins walked away from it thinking that wasn't good enough. I think that they used this experience to gauge the interest, to see how far the Red Sox would go, and then we will revisit this in the winter. Because right now, I mean, the teams that are going to be the most competitive in the trade market are the ones that are trying to upgrade for a playoff run. Like, those are the teams that I'm trying to get him for, sure, 26 and 27, but I also want it for the last 2 months of a playoff push. So there might be a team that views themselves as a contender in 26 that maybe doesn't view themselves as a contender right now. So I'll gauge what the Red Sox are willing to do. And whether it's the Red Sox that I'm talking to in the winter, I can go out in December and talk to whatever team and be like, well, the Red Sox offered me this at last year's trade deadline. And what you need to remember, and this comparison has been thrown out a bunch, but the Garrett Crochet stuff, at the trade deadline last year, they wanted Marcelo Meyer, they wanted Roman Anthony. So the premium that you're paying, well, there's two things I want to note. The premium that you're paying at the trade deadline is infinitely larger than it would be in the winter because you ended up getting Garrett Crochet a few months later without having to give up Meyer or Anthony. But then the biggest thing that we have to note for anyone that's looking at the trade deadline saying, how could they fit? Like, I still grade it an F. I grade it an F. But you have to note no controllable starting pitcher got moved. Joe Ryan didn't go to the Blue Jays. It's not like you got outbid by a competitor. They didn't move him. And no other controllable starter got moved. J.P. Sears was the only guy, and he was not even the headliner in his own trade. All due respect to J.P. Sears, he's a nice number 3, number 4, but it was the Mason Miller deal. No other dude who is under contract beyond this year as a starting pitcher got moved at the deadline.
So how much of this is on the Red Sox for getting into bed with, for lack of a better term, CTs? Is that what you're saying that the Minnesota Twins are and were to the Red Sox at this deadline?
Yes, I am saying that, yes. I think the only thing that you could say is, like, do I think they got played? I do, because people that morning were very confident that they were going to end the day with Joe Ryan in the Red Sox organization. Like, this was before you started getting into the this was before we did the stream. We started the stream at 1 p.m. So this was before that. People on that side were saying, we feel pretty good about our
Red
chances.
Sox side?
Yes. Like, we feel pretty good about it. But again, it's not because of a lack of effort. Like, if you go through and look at the pieces that were offered up, it's not even like you're not even looking at a short list of names. In my opinion, my educated guess is that the Red Sox said, who do you want? Like, there's no, once the Red Sox put Peyton Tolley on the table, that's when it was like, okay, if he was supposed to be the only untouchable, and if they got to a point where they thought, boom, Peyton Tolley's in the deal now, okay.
So he was in the deal.
I'm assuming so. If the broad stroke is, let's talk anyone. Let's talk. Who do you like? Was kind of the sentiment. Who do you like?
Here's my takeaway from that. What I'm going to glean from what you just said is the Red Sox offered Peyton Tolley late in the process.
That's what it felt like.
So let's say it played out that way.
Sure.
And I don't know if it did, and it sounds like you're not 100% sure, but that's what it feels like. Is that on the Red Sox for not putting Tolley in the deal earlier on so they could find out that the Twins were either serious or not serious?
No, because they probably didn't want to be used as leverage. Like, if you put Peyton Tolley in the deal early, they're taking that package to another team and saying, the Red Sox putting their top pitching prospect in the deal. Are you going to do that?
So I will put this one on Breslow. I think they should have, if they were willing to offer him, they shouldn't have treated him like an ace in the hole, and they should have put their best offered forward and take it or leave it. And if the Twins choose not to take it, then you can move on to something
Merrill
else.
Kelly.
That is the Dave Dombrowski approach. Here's what I'm going to offer you. I'm going to get my shopping done early. You say the Red Sox got played. I think the Red Sox got played. The way I'm reading this situation is the Red Sox kind of allowed themselves to get played.
Sure.
And as a result, ended up with nothing. And that's what I'm most frustrated by. I can be frustrated at the Twins for playing around and flirting with the idea of trading Joe Ryan, and it feels like they did that multiple times, because I go back to Craig Breslow's comments on July 14th, where he said, there are a lot of players we would love to go after, but if we spend 3, 4, or 5 days trying to engage, only to find out that the team was going to hold on to the player all along, that's 3 or 4 days we didn't spend on another idea.
Yep.
I presume that to be about Joe Ryan at the time, but let's say it wasn't about Joe Ryan at the time. That's exactly what the Red Sox did. They spent the final days and hours of the deadline leading up to something, only to find out the Twins weren't going to take the deal for whatever reason, and you're left holding the bag. Isn't that on Craig Breslow, and isn't that on the Red Sox for the fact that we're sitting here after the deadline and they have nothing to show for it?
I think that it goes back to Merrill Kelly. Give me the equivalent in the Red Sox system of what it would have cost to get Merrill Kelly as a rental. which, Felger was sitting in that chair, and that's what I said. As if it's not Joe Ryan, then sure. Like, I was against rentals, but knowing what he went for, like if it ended up being a Red Sox prospect comparison, then that would have been the move. And I think Milliken was saying this. You were so focused on Joe Ryan that you let Merrill Kelly go to a team that's, in my estimation, one of the top 2 teams that would stand in your way of winning the American League pennant, right? Like, the Texas Rangers are surging right now, and their pitching staff looks like a nightmare. I don't think anyone's afraid of the Yankees at this point. You've passed Tampa. You just handled the Astros. Like the Rangers are kind of making themselves a team. Like, regardless of what the winning percentage looks like at the end of the year, that pitching staff is one you don't want to go up against in October. And not only did you not get Merrill Kelly, but you let him go to the team that just got, better.
Will the inactivity at the deadline catch up to them?
Ooh.
Think about it.
Okay.
617-779-0985. I also want to ask you, I know we've talked about the pitching side of things. I want to find out a little bit more about what other things they might have had, what other irons they might have had in the fire at the deadline, if they had any, or if it was all totally Joe Ryan and that was it, and they ended up getting burned because, well, you're Jared Carrabis. You're as tapped in as anybody. It's why we have you. He's an insider, as James Stewart acknowledges you, as we do too. At 617-779-0985, it's Carrabis and McCarthy in for Maz tonight on the Baseball Hour.
Nothing better than a 3-run homer. Maybe a
Great weekend. I would argue the best weekend of the year for the Red Sox. A sweep of the Astros at home with the pitching matchups that were heavily tilted in Houston's favor in that series, coming off a deadline that I think all of us would say was not good enough. They've won, they're going for 7 in a row tonight?
7 in a row.
7 in a row. Mm-hmm. They're playing great baseball. You're winning Cooper Criswell starts.
Cooper Criswell, we need to start respecting Cooper Criswell.
Do we?
These parts. Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah. I mean, if you were, and I like Hunter Dobbins, but if you were one of these gung-ho about Hunter Dobbins people, keep that same energy for Cooper Criswell. The numbers are pretty similar.
I believe in Dobbins' makeup and stuff way more than I do in Criswell's.
I'm just looking at the surface level numbers, and I'm saying Cooper Criswell deserves another shot in this rotation. That's all.
I'm not too interested in engaging too much on the Cooper Criswell thing. If you want to, though, 617-779-0985.
Yeah.
Most importantly, though, Jared, will the deadline come back to bite them? Because that's the question we have to ask now. They're playing good baseball. It did not bite them this weekend. They're one of the better teams right now in the American League. Will it catch up with them, yes or no?
Okay, so here I have two thoughts when you first asked me that question. Number one, if you knew Alcala was on the way out, why did you trade for a lefty reliever when you already have a bunch of those? Why didn't you trade for a righty reliever?
Agreed.
You already have Aroldis Chapman. I get it. He's your closer. He's not really a lefty. But Justin Wilson, Bernardino, a missing one. There's more lefties. There's like 5 lefties.
Well, what if Peyton Tolley comes up eventually?
Sure.
Like throw that in the mix.
Well,
He's a lefty.
That seems to be the plan. I think that's what they're working towards. Like September 1st, here comes Peyton Tolley. So yeah, if you knew that Alcala was on his last legs and you knew that he wasn't looking good and he sucked before he got here, then I would have targeted a right-handed reliever instead of a left-handed reliever. That was my first thought. Second thought, last night's game. The butterfly effect. What happens in that inning if not for Wilyer Abreu hosing the runner at home plate? It's like, what if you traded Wilyer Abreu with a package of prospects for Joe Ryan and that play doesn't get made? So there is something to be said about the best deals or the deals you don't make. I don't think that. So do you remember? I think it was 2015 going into the 15 season. The Red Sox were heavily on the tail of Cole Hamels
and
Mookie
Betts.
Yes, they wanted Mookie Betts. They wanted Henry Owens. I mean, like, you can have Henry Owens, but
I thought he was going to be a stud.
There were other players.
Henry Owens really is my villain origin story there, Carrabis. He broke my heart in ways I could never imagine.
Who is the other name that I can't remember now? He was a first rounder around that time, pitcher. Never made it to the big leagues. Henry Owens.
Renato.
No. He ended up in like Japan or something, or Taiwan. There was another dude never made it to the big leagues. I think didn't Anthony Renato make it? Yeah. This dude did not make it. Jimmy, look up some of the first round draft picks around that time. I want to know that name. I digress. But you could look at it as some of the best deals are the deals that you don't make. I think that you're kind of coping a little bit. Of course, we'd all want Joe Ryan here, but it's a matter of, I need the answer. Could we have gotten a deal done with just prospects, or did you want a major league player back in return?
I think of course they could have gotten a deal done with just prospects because everybody else got a deal done with just prospects.
Nobody else got the cost-controlled starter.
Correct, but so let's take Joe Ryan off the table here for a second, which is a hard thing to do given that that's obviously what the Red Sox were pursuing up until the final minutes of the deadline. Mm-hmm. I think in some ways that's the story here, Carrabis, is the Red Sox got played by the Twins. They let the Twins play them, and as a result, they were not as engaged or as involved with everything else. How does everybody else around baseball make a trade to better? I mean, really, the rest of the American League made trades to better their rosters. How do the Red Sox not really make any significant addition? Because I'm sorry, Dustin May.
That was a panic move for sure.
No doubt about it, a panic move. And Steven Matz does not represent, a significant upgrade. So the question is, because the Red Sox didn't make a significant upgrade, will that eventually bite them, or do they have enough? Are we going to be sitting here in September saying, okay, if the Red Sox made a deal, they would be better? And we're regretting this.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. we're going to be looking back saying, man, wouldn't it have been great? And that's not to say that, I'm forecasting the Red Sox missing the playoffs. And the reason why is because they didn't do X, Y, and Z. I think it's more like, of course, we're going to be sitting there pushing 90 wins maybe and clinching a playoff spot, starting to break down playoff matchups. And then we'll think to ourselves, what would our chances look like if we had gotten Joe Ryan? Or Sandy Alcantara. Enough about Joe Ryan. What if it was about just another
Kelly,
Cabrera,
anybody.
anybody?
Literally anybody.
Yes, because I know that nothing personal against Dustin May, but you probably look at that. There's probably people within the organization that had no say in the trade deadline, questioning that move, saying we already have Dustin May. We have a guy like that.
Yeah. His name is Walker Buehler.
Yeah, we have guys that can do that. Get me the guy that's going to help us. He was a redundant piece. And to an extent, Steven Matz, nothing against that. I like the move because he doesn't walk guys. He's having a good year, whatever. But you have that. You didn't get the piece that was okay, that's a guy. The fact that, backup catcher. Connor Wong has 2 RBI this year. They're both on sac flies. I think we can do better.
He's making progress.
Matt McCarthy behind the dish is probably driving in a run at some point.
I'm going to get hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. I'll lean into
some
one.
point, I would put the over 1.5. I'm taking the over on 1.5 RBI Matt McCarthy by August 5th or whatever today is.
Your faith in me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Feeling the love from you on this.
Big time.
I don't want to do a Mike Felger ask the question then don't answer the question. It will eventually bite the Red Sox, but the question more importantly is when does it bite the Red Sox? I'm not convinced it's going to bite the Red Sox in the regular season because they still have enough. The difference between last year and this year, Jared, is Garrett Crochet is going tonight. Alex Bregman is an impact player who not only helps the team on the field, but he helps the team off the field. He's going to help them navigate important games in September when they are, playing gotta-have-it games. The Red Sox have enough of those guys in this clubhouse right now compared to in years past when they collapsed. I don't think this team has collapse written all over them the way that they have in recent years. Is it going to hurt them in October when you get into a 5-game series and instead of Crochet game 1, it's Lucas Giolito game 2 or Brian Bayo game 2 instead of Joe Ryan? That's where it's going to eventually bite them. So it's not going to sink. It's not going to sink them the way that inactivity perhaps has sunk them at the deadline in years past. But it's going to hurt them eventually. It will catch up with them eventually.
Sure, but I don't know that it's going to bite them. It will lessen their chances. I don't know that you're not going to go into a playoff series being like, man, it really sucks to have this dude with a low 3 ERA as my game 2 or game 3 starter. You don't have, I guess, the star power as your number 2, but Giolito and Bayo have pitched most teams would be like, yeah, sure. You cover up the name, you look at the numbers. Teams are signing up to have that as their 2 and 3.
But that's not the way it works, though. If you cover up the name and you put the numbers out there and you say, is this guy a number 2 starter in the playoffs? You got to bring the human element into it.
Sure, you do. But at the end of the day, you have what you have. And if I'm Alex Cora, I feel pretty good about Crochet, Giolito, Bayo, some combination. Obviously, Crochet is going to be the number 1. And then the other thing, too, I know it's kind of crazy to say, but Walker Buehler out of the bullpen in the playoffs, we know that guy can ball.
No, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes to the bullpen, he gets a little bit more velocity, 1-2 inning type of stuff. I was never on board with the DFA Walker Buehler thing just because I still do believe in Walker Buehler, the pitcher.
Yeah.
I don't believe in Walker Buehler's stuff, but if it's, 1 inning in the playoffs in October, I mean, I saw that guy last year in October. He still might have something. So I don't hate that thing. I don't want him starting playoff games for me, though. And as of right now, if we get to game 4 in a series, is Walker Buehler starting a playoff game for you? He might.
No.
He might.
Matt McCarthy, he's not. Cooper Criswell is going to get the ball in game 2
Don't
before
you start
Walker
up with
Buehler
your
does.
Cooper Criswell crap again. Don't you do that.
Where's the camera? Right here?
Yeah, somewhere.
Cooper Criswell will be the 2025 version of 2004 Derek Lowe. Mark it down, Jimmy Stewart. Cooper Criswell, Derek Lowe, same guy.
How compromised are you on Cooper Criswell? Has he been on the podcast? Did
I've never
miss
even
that?
met the guy. I've never met him. I've never spoken to him, but I did just see this notification pop up, which only furthers my narrative here. JP Sears was just optioned to AAA by the Padres. Therefore, no cost-controlled starting pitcher was acquired at this deadline. So, sure, be upset about it. I'm pissed. I'm very upset. I was very emotionally connected to the Joe Ryan saga. Very upset about it. But at the end of the day, there's not a team in this league that acquired a starting pitcher that has a job after the season concludes.
They try to do anything else? Anything bullpen related, right-handed pitcher, anything, first base is a position that Ken Rosenthal certainly thought they were going to improve and criticized them for not improving at first base.
Let's just say Ken was wrong about more than just the Red Sox effort to acquire Joe Ryan. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
They tried to upgrade at other positions like first base, and the Red Sox, I don't think, were comfortable with the ask there. I think the Red Sox mentality was, we want to upgrade this roster, but we want to do it from our prospects versus we're not trying to trade Duran. We're not trying to trade Willier. I don't even, what other major league players were on the block besides the corner outfielders?
Yeah, I mean,
who was up for grabs at that point?
Everybody else used prospects to improve their team at the deadline.
Yeah.
Alex Spear came out the night of the deadline and said, essentially, the reason the Red Sox did not do anything at the deadline was they didn't want to move players off of their big league roster. Are you getting the sense that teams around baseball were not asking for Red Sox prospects and were asking for the likes of Duran, Abreu, outfield types? Is that your sense?
In some situations, yes. In some situations, the Red Sox look to upgrade at certain positions, not the rotation. And major league talent was asked for in return. It wasn't, give us Peyton Tolley. I think the big question, too, is how do teams view the password? Because obviously now we're looking at him as a top 10 prospect in the Red Sox organization, but much like Christian Campbell, he's kind of just rocketed out of nowhere. So it's exciting for Red Sox fans to see his meteoric rise. But I think other organizations are looking at it and saying, this came out of nowhere. Is this legit? So no, I'm not going to give you this player that I value for a guy that kind of just exploded out of nowhere.
Can I try to translate what you're saying?
Sure.
And let me know if I've got the translation right.
Okay.
Teams think the Red Sox farm system is overrated and they were not interested as much in Red Sox prospects as they were in other teams' prospects.
I don't. So for example, one of the teams that the Red Sox tried to make a deal with to upgrade a position, again, not let's put it a fielding position. They tried to upgrade
first base.
Maybe.
Okay, but what other position would
catcher?
Is it first base or backup catcher? Okay, so it's first base or backup catcher.
One of the teams they were trying to talk to, it's not that I wouldn't read it as this team doesn't value the Red Sox prospects. It's this team was trying to get back in it. This team still believed in their chances this year. So if they were going to trade something off their big league roster, they wanted to replace it with a big league ball player. They weren't trying to trade it for a prospect in high A or something like that.
So my concern would be is that teams are not interested in what the Red Sox have to offer in their farm system. And it sounds like you're trying to alleviate that concern, but I do worry about that.
It's situational. It's situational.
Because I don't think they have the pitching, to be totally honest. Outside of Tolley, Jaron, my concern
I agree with that, though.
My concern is the Red Sox still don't have the pitchers to make some trades happen. It's like, why does Josh Naylor go to Seattle for the 13th and 16th prospects in Seattle's system? Everybody looks at that and says, why can't the Red Sox make that deal? My sense is the Red Sox didn't have the big power lefty that was the 13th prospect in Seattle's system who is basically on the verge of the big leagues and is going to be a middle reliever for the next 6 years at cost control. Mm-hmm. They don't have guys like that they can trade from their farm system because they neglected pitching for years. Thank you very much, Chaim Bloom. That would be my sense. Do you feel like it's playing out that way, or am I just jumping to conclusions?
Well, the other thing that you didn't mention was the Eugenio Suarez pursuit.
Same thing.
What he went for.
Which was kind of nothing.
Right. You're trying to tell me they couldn't have matched or exceeded the offer that the D-backs got for Suarez. So, I don't know. Maybe you're onto something. I can't speak to it in the sense that I've heard from other organizations have been like, yeah, we don't, like, the Red Sox are way too high on their own prospects. I don't think it's that, because when you look at the Baseball America and all those other places that are third-party independent looking at the Red Sox system, the Red Sox don't do their own prospect rankings. Like, these guys, they have top 100 guys. So I think it's less to do with how the Red Sox see their own guys versus how other organizations see their guys.
617-779-0985. I see you on the line. We'll take care of you. I want to get into Garrett Crochet starting tonight. Sox going for 7 in a row, playing great baseball. What is your concern level with Garrett Crochet after being skipped this past weekend? We'll get into all of that. We have Kevin Majori here with the Sports Hub Headlines. We continue. Jared Carrabis is in. Matt McCarthy in for Maz on the Baseball Hour.
Sports Hub.
All right, McCarthy and Carrabis in for Maz tonight. Every time Jared and I do a show together, I just ask him questions for 40 minutes and ignore the people. I apologize for that.
Let's talk to the people.
Talk to the people, Carrabis.
Yeah.
Why not? Ray and Revere are always a staple on the baseball hour. Hey, Ray.
Hey, guys, listen, I want to make a couple points about the Joe Ryan thing. And I feel like they were going to have to make this deal eventually to bring in a second starter. Matt, you're making the point. They don't have the pitching in the minor leagues. And the Crochet deal has completely transformed the team, literally made them a playoff team. A 1-2 punch like those two guys, and the fact that you would have Ryan under control for at least 3 more seasons, I can't believe they didn't make the deal. They need to make that deal. And the other thing about the holding on to their prospects, they're integrating so many prospects into the Major League roster right now. How many more can they integrate?
Yeah, Ray, I'll let you go on that. I believe Breslow and Carrabis, you'd probably maybe know this to be true or have a feeling of whether or not it's true. I mean, Breslow was adamant the night of the deadline, the morning after the deadline, that there was nobody untouchable in the Red Sox farm system.
That's the sense that I got, yeah. Or at least that's how the Red Sox felt they communicated to the Twins. You tell us, and they didn't.
So they have to bear some blame in that. If they were willing to trade everybody, including Peyton Tolley, who I believe is well-liked prospect on around baseball, how do you not get something done? How do you not get a deal done? Like, that's where I do look at the Red Sox and say, you might have been going down the right road. You might have been willing to trade everybody in your farm system. You might have targeted the right guy in Joe Ryan, who we all agree is the right guy. How do you not get the deal done? That's the problem. And eventually, I mean, they bear some responsibility for that, don't they?
If the Twins were purely looking at this as a situation to gauge interest and see how far the Red Sox would go. But so here, don't
you have to read that situation though?
Yes.
Isn't that on you?
Yes, but aren't you, if you're the Red Sox and you're following the trade deadline as it's happening, I don't think anyone thought that they were going to trade half their roster. So they might have gone into that day being like, all right, we're going to give their best shot. We're going to put everyone on the table. We're going to hope that they move Joe Ryan. But maybe the notion is, I don't know that they want to. Once they started trading everyone, their eyes probably lit up and they're like, this is a full-blown fire sale unlike anything that we've seen in recent years. So, yeah, this is going to get done. They're trading everybody. And then they didn't trade the one guy that they were targeting.
Let's go to Tyler in Fort Myers. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, guys. So my question was, could we be looking at the Devers trade kind of backwards in a sense of, at the trade deadline, everyone says, well, you have the Devers money, go out and do something. Could they have spent that Devers money when they gave Crochet the extension on the front half and already had a plan that they were going to clear the Devers money? And if that's not the case, could any of that money, rather than acquiring somebody at the deadline, could that money be saved for Anthony or Bregman? That's all I got.
No, they can afford Rafael Devers and Garrett Crochet.
They sure can. And more. Didn't, I mean, I'm not a big soccer guy, but didn't Liverpool just pay some dude $400 million?
Sure did.
Yeah. Was it euros? I don't know what they do.
Do not let the Red Sox off the hook for the financial aspect of the Devers deal.
Well, I heard Tony talking about this the other day because he was, corporate Maserati.
Compromised Tony Maserati?
Yeah. Now we're part of the propaganda boys over here in the eyes of Michael Felger. But it was interesting. Tony made a point because he was up there with Mr. Henry, JH as I call him, my boss. And he said, yeah, you're spending like you've always spent, but you're not spending the same relative to the rest of the league. That's all it is. Like, you can say, oh, like our payrolls are right around the same time. Okay, but like a payroll in 2025 should not be comparable to a payroll from, let's say, 2011.
Agreed.
Yeah, it has to be relative to the rest of the league, and they are getting passed by these other teams. But back in the day, it used to be the Red Sox, the Yankees, and even the Dodgers. You'd blow them out of the water. The Mets were not one of these teams, and now they've all kind of passed you by. And yeah, I think it's frustrating when you look at some of the stuff that Liverpool is doing, and you're like, wait a second. So it's not like you don't have it. We know you have it, but just waiting for the right guy.
So there was something that Henry said to Maz, based on the conversation that was had yesterday on Felger and Maz, that stood out to me. It's not only that they're sensitive to the idea that they don't spend the money that they once did, which, I'm sorry, they don't. Relative to the rest of the league, they don't. But I think some Red Sox fans, many Red Sox fans, I think it's a narrative that exists in this town, is that John Henry is not engaged. And they're sensitive to that idea. That they should be sensitive to. I do think John Henry's engaged. I think he's more engaged than he has been in the last couple of years. I see him at Fenway Park. I keep seeing pictures of you hanging out with him. I keep seeing pictures of Maz. So listen, I'm not bought and paid for.
The best boss.
I'm not bought and paid for like you and Maz, so I can at least be honest about this. And trust me, Jared, I could be bought for a far lower price than you and Maz.
I got kids, man.
I think
Except, Matt, when they did offer you something, they came up short on your asking price.
I don't know if that was quite them, but we could suggest. You've suggested that the Red Sox can't afford.
They can't afford you, Matt.
Well, it's because they're not spending what
exactly
they should be spending on this baseball team. Don't let them off the hook for Rafael.
Jared, they tried to get Matt. Matt was not in their budget.
Oh, he's a premier talent.
I agree with that.
I don't know if the Section 10 fan base would agree with that, but I appreciate your support.
They have embraced you as of late. It's kind of like you're going through a humiliation ritual is what's happening. You know,
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All for it.
I think the Sports Hub listeners would like to watch that, actually.
I mean, Steve is still going through it. It's been 10 years.
And I hope it never ends.
Same.
I'm all for getting beaten up for the content.
Yeah. Well,
it's all for the content. It's for the people. It's for the audience.
Imagine a Section 10 live stream for the playoffs with Matt McCarthy popping in at like the third inning. We're actually going to be using... I'm in touch with some folks about adding some really interesting things to that room because it's a content space. This is in my house. And at first everyone was like, this is your living room. It's not the living room. Like we can do whatever we want to this room, including things to Matt McCarthy, it sounds like. So I'm just saying, if you're around, if you're available for the postseason streams, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. But if and when that does happen, would love to have you.
Jared, my October is blocked off for the first time in many years. I have no plans in October because I fully anticipate the Red Sox will be there. You name the date. I'll be there. I'll bring food, and you can do whatever awful thing you want to do to me.
Well, we get Papagino. Is that? Can we say that?
Yes.
Do you guys have a pizza
I'll
sponsor?
pick it up so we avoid the delivery fees. I will go there. I will pick it up. I will make sure Milliken has no interaction with
A lot of hungry mouths in that room. I'm just saying. That's like an indirect way to say that they're fat. Some of them are fat, but not us. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm excited to have you.
I'll be.
You got to bring the 99 for Milliken though.
It'll be taken care of. I know how to keep everybody happy. I'm a people pleaser.
I understand this.
Can I say? Real quick on Garrett Crochet. Are you concerned about this?
No. Only because the question was asked. Is he hurt? No. Okay.
Do you believe them saying he's not hurt?
Yes.
You hesitated.
Well, because I think it's unfair. I don't think he's hurt. I don't think he's injured. Is he 100%? No, but nobody is. So, like, is there maybe some fatigue? Sure. Yeah. Would it? I don't know. I don't know anything on this, by the way. This is not informed. I'm just using my baseball brain here. At this point of the year, when he has thrown more innings than he ever has, and he's a max effort guy, high velocity guy, do I think that there's some fatigue? Sure. I think that's probably. I would lean towards that's what it is. I don't think that he is hurt, because if he was hurt, then they wouldn't be scheduling his start. You know, they would be super, especially in a year where they have eyes in the playoffs. If he was hurt, he wouldn't be making his start.
Using your baseball brain.
Yes.
Look at the big brains on Jared.
That's me.
And that's where we end the program tonight. Jimmy Stewart, thanks for your hard work. Kevin Majori, Carrabis, always fun, my man.
Thank you very much.
Joe Murray's coming your way next. Maz is not in tomorrow. I'm in tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you then.